Oh, goodness. All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back. This week, I want this body and this car to be as done as we can possibly get it, because I've got another project that I'd really, really like to get in here, but I can't unless this is done. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, because it's not only free, but it helps me out a ton on the back end, especially with ad revenue in Google. The higher the number goes, the more they're going to pay me for selling you ads while using my intellectual property to do it. And I think that's pretty fair. And it doesn't cost you anything to watch, which is even better deal. What does cost you money is if you want to go and support the channel, you can go and do that over at GleasonBrosRacing.com. Get your merch over there. I fixed. I don't know if it's actually fixed yet because I haven't gotten my proof in yet. The stickers, I made them bigger, but they're the same price. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. I've also got t-shirts, hats, mugs, tumblers. Christmas season is literally around the corner. No pun intended. Get yourself some gear. Help the channel out a ton. All the stuff, you know, I'm not doing this to be dirty. I actually have one of my team shirts on right now. They're very comfortable. They have a lot of, oh God, I don't even know how to dress myself today. Anyway, they got a lot of durability. They're very good products. The hats are good products. The tumblers are top notch. I mean, everything seems to be really nice stuff. So go over to GleasonBrosRacing.com. Get that stuff in time for Christmas. It takes a little bit to ship and get your fulfillment done, so do it now while there's still time. I also get fan mail, which I just got some. I checked the P.O. box. My P.O. box is listed in my show notes. If you look at the description of the video, it's in there, and I got a letter. I get stuff from time to time from fans and stuff, and I really appreciate it. By the way, this one's from a viewer named John Richard. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. If you want to send me some offers, or like, hey, I got parts, if you want, you can, get a hold of me a specific way. The best way to do that, if you want to give if you don't want to give your personal information out, like your phone number or anything in a comment, best way is to send it. It's private. At least you won't have your phone number or whatever contact info on the internet, which is a good idea. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. By the way, I think John offered me some Saginaw 4-speed transmissions. I can't really use the gears for them, but I do appreciate the offer. Thank you very much for writing in. I greatly appreciate the offer. Now, what I've got to show you, well, I brought a bucket in. I might as well show you what it is. Now, what I got in here is kind of interesting. I got this box, and I can't quite remove it from there. First off, this was a box I found in my dad's old stuff. And it must have been sitting on a shelf for at least 15 plus years, right? And when I opened it up, my dad had written on it, says, hey, rear end bearings for 7.5 GM. Well, I opened it up, got some RTV. That's pretty sweet. Got a parts list. Oh, I grabbed this from my brother. It was literally in his scrap metal bin. And I'm like, ooh, that's a roll bar mount. I could use that for something. But check it out. All the bearings and possibly seals, I don't know, there might just be bearings, for a GM 7.5-inch rear. I also have seals anyway, in case there aren't any in here. Gear marking compound, I really could use that. Looks like a pinion bearing. What is that? Timken. Ooh. Also, what is this? Axle bearing? Nope, that's something else. This thing is cool. Look at that. There are tons of pinion shims, carrier shims. Look at this. It is chock full. More gear marking compounds. I mean, I could literally, and if I can quote the Sandlot, now we can play forever. So now I'm going to be able to build 7.5-inch GM rear ends. Hey, I found more gear marking compound. And I can build them for probably the remainder of time, if I didn't want to exaggerate that in any way, I guess. Also, my uncle sent me this over. And anybody involved in cars or, automotive stuff will appreciate this sort of thing. An old balancer and looks like a water pump pulley. That's cool. But it's just a random bucket of bolts. Now again, if you're a car guy, especially a race car guy, these are more valuable than you could ever imagine. It looks like it's just a rusty pile of bolts, but guess what? That's a strap for a 7.5-inch GM rear. And so are the bolts in it. Now I do have to go through and clean it up because you can see there's water in here, and I'm gonna have to make sure that I get all that stuff out because it will rot these bolts, so I'm gonna have to clean all that up. Look at that. Distributor tie down, small block Chevy, random spring. Here's an alternator bracket. This is all stuff I'm gonna need. So thanks, Uncle Mark. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be able to use all this stuff. And when it comes to hardware and stuff, I will go to swap meets, yard sales, garage sales, and look for just an old man who died somewhere and his family's just getting rid of all the stuff in the garage for cheap. I will buy all the hardware because if you go to the hardware store, this stuff's expensive, So anytime you can get it for cheap is great. Well, now that I've filled, the first 10 minutes of this video with talking, let's get to work. We got to get the left side done. We have to rinse and repeat what we did to the right side already in the last video. And we have to fasten it all down so that we can get this body done. Also, before I get started, I need to address a question I had given to me by somebody watching. Why did I use the old white body? Well, simple. It's kind of an integrity thing. Now, this car is for sale, right? I have the old body from the Stafford car from this season. The blue 81 Northeast, the really nice wrapped body. I could easily paint the upper part of this car white, slap that body panel on it, and try to pass it off as the Stafford car, and I guarantee you somebody would buy it really quickly. However, it's not that car. It's a different car. I'm not saying it's worse, but what I am saying is I don't want people to get the idea that I'm trying to get rid of the car that I just won a couple races at Stafford with. I want them to know that it's a different car. I don't want to try to I don't want to do that. I don't want to fool people into thinking they're buying something that they're not. That's why we're going to put the old body on it. I might clean it up and maybe paint it really quick with some spray paint or something, but it's just a matter of integrity. I just don't want to do that. That went pretty well. Especially since we had the experience of doing it to the other side, so it just kind of slapped together. Had a little patch panel I had to put in there. Back end went right on, just like the other side. I still got to make this patch panel here, so that we can bridge that little gap. Might have to make that one a little longer since the cutoff wheel of death got to these, so we'll have to cover that up. Got to make a little one here too, not too bad, but again, this thing was cut for a different body and a different roof and stuff. So like I said, patch panel here, put a little trim panel in here. That'll cover up the hole that's in the dash right there. That's going to be good. This needs to get covered up as well. We'll just put a piece over it or something. But we also have to put the brace from here to here. So that's pretty much all we're really missing is the patch panel and the brace. And I mean, riveting up whatever's left of the body. I might have to do to this side what I did to the other side and just kind of bring these rivets out, except for like the top one. Take all these rivets out, bring the nose up a hair, because I kind of liked how I did it with that side. And it is a little tweaked, like you can see it's kind of down here and kind of up there. So I think I'll do that just to clearance this a little bit better. So we'll do that as well, but we'll do that when we do the brace. So I can just do that, clamp it in place, set the whatever length for the brace, and then weld that up. The other issue is I got to get the welder over here somehow. Have you ever bought parts or tools where you just don't want to use them? It's these racing rivets. Their downfall was the fact that they used an aluminum stem instead of a steel one. The rivet end itself is perfectly fine. The stem breaks off every single time, so you get loose rivets. So I've literally written on the box, use if really desperate. Junk. And that's why that box is still full, and all the rest of my boxes are starting to empty out, because these are junk. And I wish I could proactively get my money back from 10 years ago, but it is what it is. So we're just going to keep moving forward, I guess. Patch panels in. Came out really well. Just got to throw a couple more rivets in it. I want to put a couple down this side just to kind of stabilize it on the inner lip, just like I got to do to that one. Again, it's either going to be me or it's going to be whoever ends up with the car when they buy it who finishes the body, because, look, I mean, I got a rivet here holding that in, a rivet here holding that in. That was to hold the body on. Nothing down the side. One here. Nothing. One. Nothing. I mean, the thing is barely being held on as it is. I got this patch panel in, which is good. I just haven't painted either patch panel yet. I'm probably just going to reuse this dash panel that I had made a while ago. And I think it goes up like this. Oh, wow. Even the flanged edge kind of fits still. So throw a couple Zeus buttons in it and you're perfect. The only thing we have left to do now is to just kind of, well, maybe cover this little spot up, because you'd hate to have stuff starting to come through the body there. Just kind of tie her in a little bit, that's all, and just build this bracket, and then weld that one in, like we did to the other side, and build the front bumper. And then, well, after that, put a nose cover on it. And we've made some terrific progress on this thing already. And yes, I understand it doesn't look that great. It is kind of ugly when you've got 4 different shades of paint on it. But if you look at it from a body line perspective, it's still crap. But you can see the potential in it, so that's good. The back panels came out great. The body's sitting on it. It's not horribly dented up. It's not like my other body I just took off the Stafford car. It looks great from 50 feet away, but it is an absolute nightmare up close. So I'm going to go inside, hit up old Speedway Motors, the Walmart of racing, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, next day we are going to continue on getting some of the support structure put in. I got to find a way to get the welder over here. That'll be fun. And I also need to get the front bumper addressed. That has to happen. I think I got enough bar of material up here. It's just that if there's one thing I'm not very good at, it is bending pipe. I can do it. I'm just not very accurate with it. And I think I've made that very clear. I've tried my best. It just doesn't work out. But we're going to do it anyway. And if I screw it up, we'll just hack it together. So I've got a bunch of pop rivets on order. Hopefully they'll be here very soon. I just want to kind of tie this body up enough that it is at least solid. And if somebody else wants to put something else on there, it won't be too tied together. And they won't be undoing a whole bunch of stuff. And I won't be wasting a lot of rivets and material in doing so. So we're going to move to the left front. I'm going to try to wiggle a welder that's not big enough to fit around this car over there. And then once I do, we can get to burning some metal together. So I think that'll be fun. Let's get to it. a couple adjustments to the fender height over on the left side, I guess that would be, to make it a little bit more equal with this side. So that should be nice. It's actually going to create a nice little slope up to the hood there. And it's also at fender height. Now we've got the pipe over there all welded on. You can see that's set in place. You can also see that we have cut the old bumper out. And I got the extensions pulled out just a little bit from the chassis mounts. We are going to be able to hopefully build a bar over that. And I can at least take and trim up the radiator ducting so that I don't have to redo that. That would be fantastic if I don't have to redo something that I've already done. But the bumper in the front of this thing is going to be a little bit shorter than what I'm used to running. Now, people have asked me in the past, why do you run such a long bumper in the front of your car and in the back of your car? Answer is very simple. If stuff starts happening, you start getting into incidents, you start getting into wrecks, the front end gets a little bit of damage, you got a lot of buffer zone in case you get into somebody strong enough, it won't hurt the radiator. Or at least you will have a buffer zone in between that spot. Now, yeah, the cars are a little stronger. Yeah, they might bend the frame horns a little bit easier. But you know what? We won't drop out of races because of it. So I just got a text message that my food should be here. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to go clean up. I will be back out here tomorrow, hopefully, to get that front bumper assembly finished. And we might even start working on getting the hood fixed up. So we'll see you then. Okay, it is the next day, and it is pipe bending day, which we all know, if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, is something I'm not too great at. If I was great at it, I'd be building my own cars, but I'm not that great at it. I can do it. I'm just not a professional. If you want a professional, if you live in Connecticut and you live in this area, go see MLZ Fabrication or B&H Racing and Chassis, because they are professionals and they actually do a good job. Let's get to work. I'm going to just kind of take some measurements about the overall width and see if I can get it right this time. Now, I know when it comes to bending pipe, you got to know measurements. And what we really need to know is how wide we want to make it. And I also know that when it comes to bending pipe, you got to know your machine as well. And my machine is kind of in where my jacks and jack stand parking area is supposed to be, but apparently I've let that go to waste again. But I know that this machine here is my only pipe bender, clearly. And I think you're supposed to be able to measure, like, let's get this stuff out of here and just kind of get a good eyeball on her. Like from the front shoe or front base area of it all the way back to where the pipe is bent, that outer edge of the pipe, I think if you start there, it's like 10 inches. So if you measure a pipe out, right, and you measure it like 10 inches short on one side and 10 inches short on the other side, and you go to bend it and it makes the bends, it should equate end to end exactly the length or width you're going to need. Now, again, I don't have professional equipment. This is just an old Speedway bender. It doesn't even have a pointer on it. I used to have one. It used to be right here that I just kind of tech screwed into the side of it, and it broke off. It was just a piece of wire. So I don't even know. But let's just get to it. Wow, this place is a absolute sty. Anyway, let's see. So I should put the tire on and measure the tires, but like I'll get an idea of how wide it's supposed to be here. I thought it was supposed to be like 60-something inches. Let's see. All right, that's kind of a dirty spot there. It's like, I think the last time I had one done, I asked it to be like 68 inches wide. Now, again, this thing is going to have wheel spacers on it. I don't think there are wheel spacers on these tires. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push her out a little wider, and I think that'll be okay. 70. I don't know. That seems like a good round number. Let's just start there. I might just off camera toss some spacers on the tires and chuck the tape measure out and try to measure it. and we'll see how that goes. But for now, I think we'll just kind of get a couple cursory measurements down and bend up a pipe that we eventually are probably going to cut up and put 1.5 inches in to bridge the gaps because I'll do it wrong. Well, you know what? We didn't do so bad this time. We are off. I did make a slight error. But I measured this, and I thought that it was about 10 inches, because I took a test piece and I stuck it in there, and I kind of tried to measure it with my square and with some tape measures and stuff, and I thought it said 10 inches. Then I measured it before bending, and it said, you know what? That might be 11. And I'm like, well, maybe I was measuring to the edge here, or I was measuring to the start of the bending, which is around here, right? This is basically just a casting that holds the bolt for the U-bolt to hold the pipe to the shoe and all that stuff. So I think I might have been measuring to here, but if I measure to the end, then it's 11, and I measured to the end. So with that being said, I wanted this thing to be about 72 inches wide. It is now 74 inches wide. So my math now completely checks out. And if I wanted to err on the thing, I wanted to err wide, which is exactly what we did. I wanted 72. It's now 74. That reads perfectly into my 11-inch theory, not the 10-inch theory. So, you know, we didn't do bad then. If I figure out how to actually accurately bend pipe like this, which I think we're kind of on the cusp on, we could actually do some pretty decent work here. And if I actually wanted to build nice things, I'd get a much more professional one with the backside shoe and make sure it wouldn't have any puck marks or, you know, indentations in it like exhaust piping. But for now, this is all we got. And I think I'm just going to slap it on and see how it fits. All right, what do you think? Looks pretty good to me, honestly. You know, if I had a choice, I would have built my bumper on my Stafford car exactly this wide. And you know what? I think my brother's influence on me is kind of rubbing off because he's like, build it wider. And you know what? This is a lot wider. Granted, it's a couple inches wide. I mean, but if you have one of these cars and you're going to race it at a place where you're not allowed to pit, and if you get a flat tire, you're pretty much hosed. This is what you want to do. Make it a tank. Make it so that any minor or major body contact won't pop a tire. You can't even get into it if you're coming over on this side. Look at that. So that looks pretty good. I think we're good here. Now, the only issue I'm really kind of having is time. Time's kind of the issue. I got out here really late, and it's still really late. Or really early, I guess, if you want to look at it a different way. So I should probably go inside so that I can actually get up tomorrow morning for work. But we got a lot done, you know. Getting the bumper done was a big step. Also, getting it to fit the lower radiator ducting assembly that we got over here, it looks pretty dang good. Aside from a couple little stanchions that we might add to the sides, or if somebody buys the car, they can add it. It doesn't matter to me. But it looks fabulous. I kind of like it. But that's going to do it for today. We learned a few things. Oh, by the way, I got to go write that down. I got to go find my marker and go write 11 inches on that shoe so that I don't forget. And tomorrow, I think we might clamp a nose onto it and maybe even try to get a hood to fit. That would be cool. Anyway, I'll see you then. Okay, it is the next day. I've actually been in the shop for a little bit. If you see my daily driver over here, it's because I've had it in front of the shop, and I was doing a little bit of oil undercoating or fluid film or wool wax or whatever you want to call it. Just a little bit of routine New England winter maintenance, just so it doesn't rot out from underneath me. But I've been in here doing a couple little minor things and trying to get some stuff done before tackling that front end a little bit more. Like, I bought rivets. Now, these are my old rivet boxes, but I bought 1,000 rivets. I bought 500 multi-grip regular rivets. I bought 500 trifold rivets, which are pretty good to use in plastic and fiberglass materials. And just kind of stocking up on that. I also got the mufflers changed over so that these are legal. And if somebody wants to buy the car, at least those will be good. If somebody wants to buy the car for Waterford, this fuel cell might be legal. Everything I put in this car, whatever, I'm trying to work it out right now. I'm just kind of going through looking for parts to sell with the car in case somebody wants it. But I'm also going to go through, when I go and do the front end, these side panels, I should say, are a little bit floppy. I was thinking about just kind of tying them in and throwing a rivet in there to hold the body on, just because, like I said, if somebody else wants to change the body on the car, that's up to them, but I want to sell it with a body. That way, if you guys want to take it and race it the way it is, it's perfectly fine to do that. So we got to get to work on the front. I'm going to start finishing up a couple little bumper pieces. Like, I'll probably put a couple supports in, and I'm probably going to end up building the support like I'd put in my cars normally, like a little stand here and a second bumper coming across, which is what I normally do, because, well, it adds a lot of strength to the front end of the bumper without adding supports to it. And it's really good in traffic. You can't really get the bumper up under somebody because there's 2 layers of it, so you'll always catch somebody with the bumper. Then I think, not sure if we're going to cut the edges off or let somebody else do that if they end up buying the car. If nobody buys it, I'll have to do it, but I was thinking about putting little extensions out to the corners so it keeps the bumpers from caving in as well. Just regular fabrication stuff that we're just kind of moseying our way through. I'm kind of behind, though. I was hoping to get the hood on, but, you know, the maintenance stuff and all the other things that I've been doing trying to keep all of my road vehicles going, well, just kind of slowed me down a little bit, but I'm going to try to get back on track today. So, okay, I apologize because I put the nose cover on that I found. I got a little bit froggy and I started just throwing things at the car, and I didn't even show you the bumper as completed. But it's there, and you saw me do it in the time lapse. You could see how much I put into it. But like I said, even if I'm building this nose to sell the car, I'm still building it as if I'm going to be driving it because it's still mine. And I take a lot of pride in my work, and I take a lot of pride in my equipment, and I don't want to, for any reason, should it come to it, I do not want to pass this thing along to somebody needing more work than what I'm doing to it. So I'm really getting a lot of work done, and I hope it comes out well. Again, we're a couple rivets away from essentially having it fastened down. I threw a nose on it just to see what it would look like and if the bumper would be way too wide, even though we're kind of past the point of fixing that at this point. So I'm just going to leave it. And like I said, I might be doing all this work, but I am doing it as if I'm keeping it. But if somebody else wants to buy it, a lot of the work's done for them. Plus, you guys got to see some cool stuff, so it's a kind of win-win situation for everybody. But I think I'm just going to toss a couple little rivets in here, and I think I'm just going to call it for today because we did a lot of real major fabrication, which, yeah, I mean, the bumper was on, but we didn't have any of the supports, and we didn't have any of the bracketry put into it either. And at this moment, I got like a little bit of a stringer or spacer bar I want to put in like right up there just to kind of hold the nose up. And that's about it. You know what's kind of funny is the sides of this car seem to be a little taller than I remember. And for whatever reason, you could probably get away with a flat hood without even needing a scoop, which is like kind of weird for one of these cars. And remember, we had this thing on the ground and we measured the roof and the front fender heights just to make sure that they were at the minimum possible. At least minimum of what we could get out of it. So I'm going to wrap this up for today. I might just chuck a rivet or two in the body just to stop it from flapping and catching on my suit and stop it from ripping it constantly. And, you know, I actually kind of wish that I had filmed being under the car and like changing the mufflers out because I got them sitting down here. So whoever ends up with this car, at least they'll have legal mufflers. And at least they'll have more legal parts to go along with it. Therefore, I'm hopeful of getting my actual asking price. Isn't that wonderful? Instead of some, I'm trying not to swear on the video, but at least I won't get an offer like of half price from somebody trying to take advantage of somebody that they think is in a dire straits situation, and I don't have to deal with scumbags anymore. So that would be lovely, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, last day I got to work on this thing, and I got some new parts in, aside from the rivets that I bought. Bought me some new mufflers for the Stafford car, not this car. One less thing to worry about. But our main focus today, on what little time we have remaining, is going to be putting the rest of the body on the car, which, I mean, it's pretty much already here, if you look at it. And I just want to kind of secure it a little bit better, like throw a couple rivets in on each side. I also want to put a little stringer bar across the nose. Granted, I'm going to have to at least miss that mount that I kind of tossed together for a radiator mount. It's not the greatest. It's like a self-tapping screw, but it just has to stop the radiator from walking back and forth, which is pretty much the only real purpose. So I'm going to take a couple of tubes of 1 inch square, kind of put them on either side of it. Then we're going to try to throw a couple of rivets in the nose. I don't know if I'm going to really do any duct work to this because it does need a little bit of work, granted where the bumper kind of lands, but I can't really do anything about that. So we're going to do that, get the nose kind of fixed in place, and try to work on getting a hood on it. I have a hood. I'd really like to be able to get it to sit nice and flush and maybe figure out what to do with that, because I wanted to have the whole body on for the end of this video, and if I keep talking, that's not going to happen, so we got to get to work. Got the upper fender supports or nose supports in, and I put that in air quotes because it's not really a support. It's just a piece of tubing I welded in and I'm going to rivet to. But I got to get the front fenders to fit this nose. Now, the bumper is actually a little further back than usual, and I also have a different nose. Stafford and the rule book that they supply, which now Waterford uses up here in Connecticut, they mandate the MD3 nose, apparently. Allegedly, according to the rule book. I'm going to take a heat gun, knock this ugly thing out, but also I got to get them to fit. So it has to kind of squish in like that, and I got to figure out where to trim it so that it meets the body line and it meets the nose line as well. And what I was thinking of doing was, see how it's got a straight line up here? Just kind of put it in there, clamp her down, run a tape line with some blue tape down that line, trim it, figure out where the other part is, and then the up part here and the down part there, string another piece of tape down, hack that off as well, we should be good to go on that, at least, I think, if the theory holds out. So I don't know if I'll really get to working on the hood here, but I did want to kind of just start wiping her down a little bit, because I don't like this thing looking like garbage, because it's my old car, and like I said, I'm trying to be better about these sorts of things, and heck, even having the thing just be up for sale is kind of a sensitive topic, if I'm going to be so honest. Because this car, if people aren't familiar with this thing, it's my old car. If you watched my videos from earlier this year when I raced at Stafford, completely different car. This is the car that I started my street stock career at Thompson with. And I'm kind of sentimental about it, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you all. Because, well, I've told the story a lot of times, and a lot of people might already know, but for those of you who are new and may not know, well, this is the car that when I was out of racing because there was no possible way that I could be a responsible adult and go racing at the same time, my dad stepped in and said, listen, I've supported your brother for a long time in racing, and I'm going to help you out too. And because my brother raced before me, and they already had a deal going, and then I kind of jumped in with both feet and was like, hey, I'm here too. And they were like, well, damn it, we'll try. But so I didn't expect a lot, but that's okay. But I got back into it because he was gracious enough to say, listen, man, I know you got this stuff going on in your life right now and things are kind of tough, but I can give you the car, the engine, and as much support as I can. Why don't we go back racing again? And I said, deal, I'm in. And I built, whatever. This car was just a bare frame and cage when I got it. And we brought it to this shop when I had just moved into this house. And I was just kind of, not the greatest at fabrication, which clearly I'm still not, but we learn together. But I put all the tin work in this car, and we sourced all the parts, and he brought me a motor and everything. And we went racing again, and a year later, I'd won my first race with her. And then we always perpetually seemed to finish on the podium in points at Thompson, and we kept winning. We won the most races in the division in 2017, and it's just been a really good friend. And I'm very touchy about this thing, and I'm very kind of protective of it, and I feel like it's my sole duty to be a good steward for this car. And I don't know how many of you out there who watch race or have raced or whatever the case may be, but I'm sure that some of you along the way have had something kind of like this relationship in your life, and you feel exactly the same way about a car. And at some point, a car surpasses being a lump of iron and steel and rubber hoses and tires, and it becomes a friend. It has a soul. It has this innate feeling that it's a real and honest feeling thing. And that's what I feel here with this thing. And like I said, I am very sentimental about it, and I know I am selling it, but I'm also not selling it for like an inexorbitant amount of money. It's a very fair price. But at the same time, I'm also being fairly protective of who ends up with it, because, You know, when I sold my other car, I sold it to somebody, and he just didn't do anything with it, and it just kind of floundered and fell off into obscurity, and I don't even know. It might be scrapped by now for all I know, but like, I wasn't as sentimental about that car as this one. And I just hope that whoever buys it is respectful of those wishes to be a good steward of this thing like I was, and to genuinely care about it, and to just kind of treat it the way that I treated it, with respect, with dignity, and I hope that it brings joy to that person in the same way that it brought it to me. And that's all I can really hope for, I guess. So I think I'm going to end this video off here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. I'll get to the hood eventually in the trunk lid. But right now I'm going to go do some family stuff. And I think that's kind of more important right now. I got a lot of projects coming up in the future, and I'd really like this thing to get out of here so that I can get those done. Tell your friends and family if you think that they'd enjoy something like this, and the best way to support the channel is to not only subscribe to help me out with the ad revenue, which is a constant source of a very small amount of income to help me out with this, but to go to GleasonBrosRacing.com, get yourself hats, shirts, stickers. I hope I fixed those. Mugs. Well, not really mugs, but tumblers. The tumblers are sick, by the way. I really think that they're nice. They hold ice in them for like over 12 hours. And if it takes you 12 hours to drink something, you might want to see a doctor because you're weird. But otherwise, it'll do it. Trust me. It'll also keep warm drinks hot for a long time, too. I got koozies, stickers. I got commemorative, like, Rookie of the Year little cards that I can sign and stuff like that. So go check it out. GleasonBrosRacing.com merch store. Click on the merch store tab on the website. It'll take you straight there. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Until next time.